Blessings, everybody. Thank you again for joining Anka and I. We're so happy that you would take the time out of your busy lives to go deeply inward and share with us some of the teachings, both current, new, and ancient. You'll notice we have our hand sanitizer and in our masks. We highly encourage the use of both. If we do need to go out, which is rare, we do on occasion go to the market, as many of you do. We avoid the walks on the beach, as tempting as that is, but we always go with our masks and our hand sanitizers. So highly encourage that. We'll talk more about those protections in a moment. This is just an intro. Again, we've sent this out and we've posted this on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, but these are some of the resources that we have available now. We have a Theta Healing Circle YouTube channel, and all the Theta Healing is being posted there. Our Gentle Yoga, Thursday nights, 7 o'clock, we're offering online yoga classes, and we've recorded an actual 1-hour yoga class that Anka led with Theta Healing, Gentle Yoga, very beautiful class, and it is currently on the Theta Healing YouTube channel. Temple of Joy has a lot of resources. The satsangs we do weekly, videos from India, some darshans from saints in India that we've met with in the past. We've organized a lot of those into our YouTube channel for all of you. Weekly live, we're offering Tuesdays, our Theta Healing Circles at 7 o'clock. This is the link to join that Zoom room. Satsang and meditations every Wednesday at 7. And Thursdays at 7 are Gentle Yoga with Theta Healing that Anka will lead us into. So those are our weekly live online events. And of course, we have our Facebook page, the Encinitas Meditation and Temple of Joy, and a lot of resources there. So we hope that you'll find those resources useful. As you can see here, this is a great opportunity for us, isn't it? I mean, when faced with these new constraints, we can't move about. We shouldn't be going outside, other than for, the significant issues, such as if we're a healthcare worker or we're helping to serve food in local stores or what have you. But it's not easy for all of us. We're not able to go to the Y and work the bodies. We're not able to jog. I can't go in the ocean. All the things that we're used to doing. But it's also a really awesome time for us to get beyond those old habits, the old assumptions of thinking, the ruts that we get in that form our day-to-day patterns based on our past, or even the expectation of some future. In either case, drawing us away from the be here now present moment where everything exists. So when we're able to anchor in the present, all the new possibilities unfold before us. Everything we could ever hope to imagine reveal themselves. So I know that Anka and I have spent more time in satsang. We're spending more time in service online. I've been reading more. My two favorite books at this point, The Physics of God by Joseph Selby, an amazing book that talks to the intersection between the science of religion, the spiritual science, and the physical science as we know it today. This is bringing the quantum world into the physical world, and it's the deepest and most layperson way of expressing our most current understanding of things like consciousness and the effects of meditation on the brain, the ability to modify the genetic structure of our entire body. So it's a really great book, The Physics of God. As an adjunct to that, and Greg Braden, who we're going to reference here tonight, he wrote the foreword to this book by Joe Dispenza. Dr. Joe is a scientist and author in this book called Becoming Supernatural. And it is the best book I have ever seen as a manual to get beyond the limitations of the material world, to move beyond the physical body and take charge of your life. Not just thinking about and logically trying to reason our way into new patterns, but literally guides that lead us into exercises that help us to have these profound experiences in the here and now. So again, great books. I'm reading them. I hope you're reading some, and I hope all of you are using the best discretion. Anka wanted to share this because I think it's fantastic. When we hear COVID-19, the tendency that I had was, of course, negative. And I was looking like everybody at the Center for Disease Control website every day. I'm looking at the New York Times curve where they're showing the increases of infections, the increases by state and countries of deaths. I'm looking, where's the curve going to flatten? You know, all these things. What can I do? What are the symptoms of the virus? You know, again, like everyone, Anka and I, well, unlike everyone, we just returned from India, and we were in some very crowded spaces, mingling across India, and flew back through 3 international airports. I'd say we were in the high-risk category. We feel fine.
And we're self-quarantining, so.
We are self-quarantining. This is literally our 9th day. Again, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the things that we do. But here you can see that COVID-19 can mean some very positive things too. The compassion that we can all have for each other. Social distancing does not mean social isolation. We're seeing more and more people helping each other, aren't we? Yeah, we are. We're seeing people going out and feeding the hungry, and even online, the things that we can do together. The opportunities we have for self-growth, to be able to take the time and meditate, when before, you know, everybody would say, I don't have time to meditate, or my meditations are very difficult. Well, I will tell you, the longer you sit in stillness, the easier it becomes. And you can start to build these new habits using this time and opportunity.
And it's a nice reminder to not get so caught up in what's happening in the outside world and in the news. I mean, it's important to know what's going on. So watch the news once a day, maybe twice a day, but then almost disconnect, like be just an observer of it. And then take that time to meditate. Because even now, I see a lot of people just so worried and making themselves so busy, watching all kinds of things. You know, there's so much to watch. Again, focusing on the external. So great opportunity to go within, and we'll get to the eye of introspection here in a moment.
And it is all about being victorious, right? I mean, why are we here? We're in these bodies to achieve victory, to overcome the limitations of our ego, of our past actions, of our old habits, our old way of thinking. We're here to remove those obstacles. And Anka and I, of course, have for many, many, many years, in some cases decades, have been blessed with the guru, these gurus behind us, who have guided us into a state of absolute victory and subsequently vitality, the ability to live life to its fullest, no matter what the outer circumstances are. Anka mentions introspective. Again, what better time than now to journal, to sit and write down, what are you thinking? Why are you thinking that? Who is the one having these thoughts? What are thoughts? What is consciousness? These fundamental questions that we could ask ourselves now and explore them through introspection and study, who are we?
And what soul qualities do we want to develop? And maybe just take, again, getting away from making ourselves so busy, maybe not focusing on 10 different ones and then doing a little bit of each, but really tuning in, which one do I really need to develop at this time? What's the opportunity again here? And then really every day focus on that one quality, maybe patience, perseverance, courage, compassion, you know, whatever that is for you.
Which leads you into the D of divine plan. Realize that all things are happening for us, not to us. This virus isn't coming to punish us. It's coming to teach us. It's coming to elevate us to a higher state of awareness. It's coming as a gift, believe it or not. We'll look back on things, as we always do, on the negative things that happen to us in life. When they're happening, they seem to be so horrible. You know, we lost that job. Girlfriend broke up with us. We got in a car accident. You know, we got divorced. All kinds of serious things happen to us in life. And yet 10 years, 15, 20 years later, we look back and say, you know, that was probably the best thing that could have happened to me. I hear this time and again from people. What happens is we're cleansing and we're able to release so much that then makes available this new form of creative energy that allows us then to align our lives into a divine plan, more consistent to the Creator, more consistent to what God has envisioned for us, rather than what our mind and what our emotions were telling us to do.
And really trusting and knowing that we're part of the divine and part of this divine plan. Which brings us to the next, to the one. One is new beginnings. So great reset. What an amazing opportunity, amazing time to reset. A lot of us can't go out, we're at home. Instead of feeling restricted, limited, or stuck, I see a lot of conversations. Oh, I can't go to the beach, I can't do this, I can't do that. So what? Let's create what we really want at home. We can do plenty of workouts, we can meditate, and we can really feel out, find our true self, connect with our soul, get away from the busyness, and just allow ourselves to be, making the being more important than the actions at this time.
Getting rid of the word can't and replacing it with can. Because right now you can. You have the time. You have the space in your own home, in the comfort of your own home. Magnetize that space. Go inward. Tap into the wisdom and take responsibility for the greatest good of all. Send out love and positive vibration out into humanity. Realize that COVID-19 isn't necessarily a bad thing. Yes, it stands for the coronavirus disease, which was first manifesting in 2019, ergo the term COVID-19.
And we see, just from our home, we see still quite a few people walking, running, biking, less than before, but people are still out. And I think the 9 is a really great reminder to do what's best for humanity, do what's best for each other. And once we get more into the virus aspect of this presentation, we get reminded that we may carry the virus and feel perfectly well. So let's not risk getting anybody else infected.
I'd like to shout out to Greg Braden, great New York Times bestselling author. If you haven't heard of Greg, look him up. Great guy, really one of the visionaries of our time. He's really pioneering the bridge between science and spirituality in a very human way. I have great respect for Greg. His link is here to his website. I borrowed from Greg a number of slides here, and I'd like to spend just a brief moment with you to talk about virus. What is a virus? Well, as you can see here, it's a very simple device. I'm going to say device because it's not an organism. It's not alive. It's a device made up of an outer shell made up of lipids or proteins, very simple protein shell containing some very simple and short strands of DNA, and in the case of COVID-19, coronavirus, a single strand of RNA. Very simple device. You could think of it as almost a little mechanism, not alive. It's important to understand its structure to understand what I'm going to get into here in a moment. A lot of people think, well, how do you kill it? Well, you don't kill it. It's not alive. Living things are made up of cells. The virus is not a cell. It has no characteristics of a cell, no nucleus, no plasma, all the things that make up the characteristics of a cell. Living things have metabolism. They are processing sources of energy to feed their own growth and their replication. There is no metabolism in a virus. Living things use energy. There is no cell respiration. It's not using energy nor expelling the byproducts of that energy. It's inert in that regard. Living things grow and develop. The viruses don't grow. They spread through the attachment within living cells. They're able to spread their DNA instructions. They reproduce. Again, viruses don't reproduce. They need a host cell to spread their DNA. We'll show that in a moment. And lastly, living things respond to stimuli. They're aware of environmental conditions. Viruses are inert. They are inactive. So know that we're not dealing with something that's alive. We're not going to kill it, but we can render it functionally impotent. The coronavirus shown from an electron microscope here on the right-hand side, that's a picture. And on the left, it's a graphic that sort of illustrates it. You'll notice again that the coronavirus has a circular body made up of protein, simple protein, lipids, containing inside of that container some simple DNA and a single strand of RNA. And on the outside, it has these protrusions. And those protrusions are an important aspect of how they spread. See, when that virus comes into contact with our cell, that protrusion attaches to a receptor site within the cell. Cells have within their outer energetic body, I'll call it, they have receptor sites, and they can receive. It's kind of like the International Space Station docking another satellite, how they two come together. Well, the virus is docking to the cell using these protrusions. You'll notice here that the red spike on the top, this represents that protrusion of the virus. The virus is at the top, at the bottom is a cell. The blue are cellular enzymes. These are the receptor sites of our cells. When that spike of protein, the red, on the coronavirus touches a cell, it meets with the cell enzyme, the blue, and it forms a receiving channel, just like all other activities within the cell. And it's through that receiving channel that it's able to send its single-stranded RNA into the cell. And so this is how any virus works. You'll notice here on the left is the virus. It enters the cell body, releasing its RNA, as I mentioned before. It does that through a receptor site, how it attaches to the cell wall. It sends its RNA, and that RNA invades the cell nucleus, and it takes over that nucleus, sending its genetic material in, which then attaches to the genetic material of the cell. So now the genes have that virus attached to it. And now as that cell replicates, as all cells do, it replicates its DNA, its genetic material. So it's replicating that genetic material that now has the COVID-19 virus with it. So that's how the virus duplicates. It's actually replicating through the cell's DNA. And then typically the cell itself will die off and new cells are formed. And that's how the virus is spreading throughout a body. So while the virus is active within our body has a means to fight it. These are our leukocytes. This is part of our white blood cells. Now, these are very powerful armies that get mobilized anytime there's an antigen, something in the body that the body realizes it shouldn't have. And so it goes in and it tries to get rid of it. In this case, it will surround the virus, as you can see here, encasing it, such that those protrusions are unable to attach to a cell membrane. They are no longer effective as receptor sites to attach to a cell. The virus can still exist in the body, but it's functionally impotent. It cannot attach to the cell, therefore it can't duplicate, it can't spread. It's just another piece of junk within the body. We certainly have a lot of junk in our bodies that are not hurting us. A lot of people are wondering, what are the symptoms that I might have? And again, I hear this from people, and time and again, they get a runny nose, or they're sneezing, or all of these things, and they're thinking, oh my gosh, maybe these are symptoms of the COVID-19 coronavirus. I thought this was a useful thing to share with you. I won't go through all of them, but you can notice here that it's rare to have any form of loose stool or diarrhea, any kind of runny nose, any kind of sneezing, You know, those are typically associated with other forms of flu, with typical colds, the common colds, but clearly not something to be concerned about. So if you're showing these kinds of symptoms, don't worry so much about them. In fact, I would suggest limit the amount of worry that you have. Now, again, just briefly, we all know this, the transmission of the virus is through physical contact. The virus is inert. It doesn't have legs. It can't walk around. It just, if somebody has it on their skin and they touch something, a handrail, steering wheel of their car, a jar in the grocery store when they're checking your groceries out and they don't have gloves or they haven't cleansed with a good hand sanitizer, then it spreads that way. Airborne, many people don't realize that it's been shown now that the coronavirus can exist in the air, floating on the material in the air. See, air is not inert. It's actually made up of tiny, tiny droplets, you know, humidity, skin, different kinds of elements, and it's attached to those elements, and it can sit there for up to 3 hours. This is why it's important that even if you go outside, you might have passed through an area where there was somebody who was infected and they were coughing or they were, you know, breathing, and they were sending out this virus in that space, and they've left an hour ago, and you walk through it and you get exposed to it. So you don't understand the depth of what the risk is. It's best, again, why we should isolate, why we should self-quarantine, and when we go out, why we should protect ourselves appropriately. Surface droplets can live 2 to 3 days. It's been said that the virus can last longer on metallic surfaces. But again, remember that you know, people have been touching surfaces out there, and if you leave your home, you don't know what those surfaces, where they've been over the last 3 days. That's why the risks are so great of this community spread. You don't have to just come right into direct contact with somebody. And in fact, most people that are carrying the virus don't even know they have it. The majority of people will be asymptomatic. They will not display the symptoms of the coronavirus. Here's the good news. The best defense is your own body. As we mentioned before, your leukocytes are the best defense against this virus. Your body knows what to do if you allow it to do it. So spend your time now to strengthen your immune system. Number one way to do that is to remove the negative thought patterns that bring tension into the body. Tension brings stress. Stress brings contraction. It weakens the autoimmune response of the body. Relaxation, happiness, and joy strengthen the autoimmune system of the body. So the worst thing you can do is be afraid and have negative thoughts. Oh my gosh, look what's happening around me. No, say, you know, I'm fine. This is all part of a divine plan. Allow yourself to meditate more. Get some exercise. You know, Anka has been climbing our stairs, up and down the stairs. If you have 2 or 3 steps, go up and down them 20 times. Lift bags of rice or cans of soup, you know, as weights. You know, do sit-ups, push-ups, walk in place, energize. Master's energization exercises, all of them good ways to move the body and get exercise. And of course, sleep is very important. So don't worry if you're getting more sleep than you normally do. It's a good time to get more sleep. And of course, nutrition and supplements can help. You know, there are many, many, many out there, and we're not going to talk about all of them. You know, of course, vitamin C, zinc, vitamin E in various forms. We're using mushroom tinctures, agarikon as an example, reishi, turkey tail. You know, these mushrooms have been shown to be antiviral. Again, very natural ways of strengthening the body's capacity to render this virus impotent, dysfunctional, remove its capacity to attach itself to our cells. So lastly, what happens after we get through all of this? Well, there is no going back. Contrary to what some say, I can't wait until this is over. They expect they're going to go back to work, they're going to go back to school, they're going to go back to their normal patterns. Well, look, there is no going back. It's going to be a different world. There will be shifts within our society, how we interact, how we shop, how we cleanse, how we view the world, how we as humans view our role as a footprint on this planet. Hopefully, it'll be an enlightened view. There'll be shifts in economics. There'll be shifts in lifestyle. Now's the time for you to start letting go of those old patterns and developing new ones that will help you in this new world. Here's your chance to get ahead of that curve. One of the big questions we hear, and now again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist connected to all this. I track the news sources that I think are credible, but I do believe, as Anka does, we tune into this, that we expect to see this scenario of continued infection, continued death rates in the United States and beyond. We're seeing the numbers increasing, of course, steadily. We won't see that curve start to flatten until between 30 and 45 days. And that varies, of course, by region and country, but it's going to be a while. We've been back from India now for going on 8.5 days. It feels like a long time, but you know, the fact is we've got another 4 to 6 weeks of living the way we are, which, by the way, for me and Anka, is a great chance for us. We have all that time to develop these new patterns so that when we do emerge back into this new lifestyle, this new society, we're going to play an even greater role ourselves and socially with others. We expect that sometime in late July, August, we'll start to see things returning into a rhythm where people are able to move about a little more. Now, again, I don't go by these numbers strictly, but if you've heard that by Easter, you can go flock into your church for Easter Sunday service, I wouldn't recommend it. I don't think that's right. I think it's misguided. And again, I think that we have not seen the worst of the actual infections and deaths resulting from it yet. So send out the positive energy. You were made for times like this. You know, the truth is we were built for this. Our bodies are the best healers on the planet. Our bodies know more. Our consciousness tunes us to the infinite consciousness of the Creator. If we're able to get out of the mind, quiet the mind, limit our sensorial inputs, and go deeply into that state expressed at the spiritual eye, we'll start tuning our consciousness to the infinite ocean of consciousness. And all the answers, all the joy, all the love will come to us. And here's a chance for us to develop that skill set and deepen that skill set in the next 4 to 6 weeks. So, again, reminding you that we have some great resources. Anka is focusing greatly on her healing skills. She's a great, gifted, empathic healer, bringing theta healing. She's going to share that with us now. Again, classes, workshops, CDs, all available. You can email her. We'll be sending you all these resources through your email at the end of today. So with that, I'm going to shift seats here with Anka and ask her to lead us in a little theta healing and then a meditation.
All right, so just close your eyes and allow yourself to relax. And take a few deep breaths. Breathing out anything that's worrying you, that's disturbing you. Just breathe it out, let it go. And then breathe into your heart center and focus on peace, love, gratitude, compassion. And we're going to release some limiting emotions, some limiting beliefs. Some of them may be conscious, some of them subconscious. So with everything that we're going to shift, I'm going to ask you for permission, given that we have free will, and this way it's all between you and the Creator, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it. And all the shifts happen on the history, core, genetic, and soul level. So it's deep reprogramming of the conscious mind, subconscious mind, and even the DNA. Do you like to release all fear, doubt, worry, anxiety, panic, stress that no longer serves you?
Yes.
And just say yes out loud to show the universe that you're ready for this shift. And you can unmute your microphones for this. Would you like to know how to be grateful for this opportunity to go within and to create what you're really meant to create at this time from Creator's perspective?
Yes.
And again, it's being
Yes.
downloaded on the history, core, genetic, and soul level.
Yes.
Would you like to release the belief that you're a victim and that society is a victim to this virus?
Yes.
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 Would you like to trust on all levels that you're empowered to overcome this virus and to live in your highest and best way?
Yes.
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 Would you like to release the belief that your body is weak or that your whole being is weak at this time?
Yes.
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 Can we show your immune system what it feels like to be strong in your whole body or your organs, really your whole body and being, what it feels like to be strong and able to have those leukocytes fully activated?
Yes.
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 Can we align your truth about the purpose, the bigger picture of this virus with Creator's truth?
Yes.
Yes.
And would you like to know how to let go of negative thought forms so you can really focus on the positive aspects of your life and of the situation?
Yes.
Yes.
Would you like to know how to take time to go within, to meditate, and trust that it's not a waste of time, and trust that it's not selfish?
Yes.
Yes.
And can we just fill your whole being with Creator's unconditional love, peace, joy, and gratitude?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just notice how you feel at this time. Not judging, just observing. And then focus your gaze on your third eye, your intuitive center between your eyebrows.
And bringing your hands in pranam over the heart, join me in this prayer. Heavenly Father,
Heavenly Father,
Divine Mother,
Divine Mother,
Divine Mother,
friend, beloved God,
friend, beloved God,
Beloved God,
great masters of self-realization,
great masters of self-realization,
saints and sages of all religions,
Saints and
saints and sages of all religions,
humbly we bow at your feet.
humbly we bow at your feet.
Divine Mother,
Divine Mother,
we know that you have an infinite love for us.
we know that you have an infinite love for us.
That we are your children,
We are your children.
and in the shelter of that love,
In the shelter of that love,
we find safety,
we find safety,
protection,
protection,
and peace.
and peace.
And as your child,
And as your child,
may we be an ever more perfect channel
May we be an ever more perfect
may we be a more perfect channel
to spread that love and light,
to
to spread that love and light,
that it might protect
that it might protect
all beings on this planet.
all beings on this planet.
Om
Om
Shanti,
Shanti.
Shanti,
Shanti.
Amen.
Amen.
We welcome each of you to meditate. Take this time now to go inward and in your own space, in your own way, with your own technique. Take a few minutes now, 5 minutes, 15, an hour, whatever time you're able to, and take this energy, this vibration of love and compassion and healing and joy and expansiveness, and carry that deeply into your consciousness, that you may carry it with you each and every day. And Anka and I again want to thank you for joining us. We look forward to continuing our social connection. We may be separated by space, but not necessarily by time, and certainly not by love and compassion. So watch for our email. We'll send today's program out to each of you, as well as a link to the recording for you. Share all of this freely with any others that you have in any way that you choose to. And with that, God bless us all.
And we hope that you have a peaceful rest of the day, peaceful evening, and join us in the yoga class as well. Thank you for joining us. Namaste.